All right, everyone, welcome. Thank you for coming to the Youth for Intercultural Understanding 5th Virtual Symposium. Thank you for joining us. My name is Summer Sun. I'm a high school senior from California, and I'm a Global Youth Philanthropy Student Association board member. And I'm very excited you are here because we have a great hour planned ahead of us. And thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to join us. So first on our agenda, we're going to introduce ourselves to each other and make some new friends in breakout rooms. Then we'll go into an introduction of GYP and the Youth for Intercultural Understanding Virtual Symposium. Then, what you've all been waiting for, we're going to have our amazing presentation by our guest speaker, Angelina. And then we'll have, last but not least, a question and answer session for you to get to know about Omani culture, but also about our guest speaker here. So I am going to create some breakout rooms, and please share your name, where you're from, and your favorite ice cream flavor. That's a really good one because it's very, very hot right now where I live. It's like, I think it's like 100 degrees outside right now. But thank you for your patience as I create these breakout rooms. And amazing. Okay. Alrighty. These rooms should be opened. So it would be great if you could join the room that shows up on your screen right now. Please click that button and come back after a couple minutes. I'll probably give you guys about 4 or 5 minutes to talk, and then you can come back to the main room. Please hit that button on your screen, please. If you are not in the meeting, please join. Thank you very much.
Could you say that again?
Sure, I can. Yeah. Okay, so for all of those who are not in rooms, I have now moved you to rooms. So you should be receiving a message on your screen. So please join the room that you are assigned to. Again, if you're not currently in a room, it would be great if you could join a room. I have just assigned everybody to a room. Again, please join a room if you're not in it, please. Again, if you are not in a breakout room, please join a breakout room. Again, if you are not in a Zoom meeting, it would be really great if you could please join a Zoom meeting. I mean, not a Zoom meeting, if you could please join a breakout room, that'd be great. Alrighty, for those of you coming back to the main session, welcome. I have just closed all the breakout rooms, so we should see people begin to trickle back in. Thank you very much for joining. I'm very excited for the presentation that we have. I personally don't know, I know very, very little about Omani culture, so I'm actually very, very excited to learn. Hello, welcome if you're coming back to the main session. Hello to all if you're coming back to the main session. We're just going to wait just about 5 more minutes, or not 5 more minutes, just a few more seconds for those who are not, for those who are just taking a bit more time to talk. Alrighty, so I believe everybody should be back. Thank you very much. I hope you learned a lot about the people in your breakout rooms, whether they liked vanilla or chocolate or whatever flavor they liked. I really wish I had some ice cream right now, but great, awesome. So next on our agenda, we have a bit about the mission of GYP. So for those of you who don't know what GYP is, it stands for Global Youth Philanthropy, and it's a nonprofit organization that helps youth turn their passion and ideas into innovative philanthropic projects through coaching and connecting them to needed resources. We help students gain larger world perspectives and promote communication and collaboration. So next, what is the objectives of this symposium, the Youth for Intercultural Understanding Symposium? For those of you, just a quick note, for those of you who are not muted, please mute yourself. That way during the presentation, we are minimizing the amount of disruptions that we have. That would be great. So the Youth for Intercultural Understanding provides opportunities for youth to familiarize themselves with diverse cultures and traditions around the world. We promote respect, understanding, and appreciation for cultural diversity, building human connection, communication, and compassion. And we also help develop intercultural competence, global citizenship, and leadership, working towards a culture of peace. So this right here, this WeChat barcode, please scan it because it would be great if you could join our Intercultural Understanding Virtual Symposium group chat, which is the main way that you can receive information about the symposiums. We post the Zoom links, we post reminders, we post interesting information about GYP related programs. We won't spam you, but it's a really great way for you to get involved with GYP and again with the symposium. So what are the impacts of this symposium? While all student participants receive a GYP certificate of participation, you can submit and publish your reflections and opinions on blogs to share around the world for people to see. And you have the opportunity to become a guest speaker at a future symposium, which I think is really cool. If you know a bit about a culture and you'd like to share about it, then you have this amazing opportunity. So next, I'd just like to talk a little bit about some GYP related programs very quickly. So This next program is about a college application seminar happening on September 24th, 2022. So if you know someone who is going to be an incoming college student, or if you're in high school applying to college, this is a really great opportunity to take advantage of. So feel free to take a picture of this, and please follow us on WeChat so that you can get more information. The WeChat barcode will also be available at the end of this presentation so that you can make sure to scan that. Our next event is a GYP online student art show, and this is super important because we are accepting new applications still all the way until October. So if you know someone who is pretty good at art, wants to submit something, please let them know, because it's a really great opportunity for your child, or if you want to submit, this is a really great way to get your art out there. So next we have our 2022 Students Online Concert, and this is an event that is coming very, very soon, and it's a great opportunity for you to listen to some amazing young musical talents perform. Next, we have another online Zoom meeting to talk about college application strategies, and this is taking place tomorrow. And personally, I'm in high school, and this is something that is super amazing to me because I'm in high school, and this is something that I would really want to take advantage of to learn about college scholarships. So please, if you or someone you know is in high school, please take advantage of this and go to this Zoom meeting to learn about some great scholarships. Finally, we have another great Zoom meeting for those interested in planning for their college applications. And this is for all grades. It's never really too early to start thinking about things that you're interested in, or if you're looking at applying to college, to start thinking about that. Again, as a high school student myself, this is something that I would immediately jump on and take advantage of. In summary, please don't hesitate to get involved with Global Youth Philanthropy. This is a truly amazing organization. We're always looking for more volunteers, and this is an amazing experience, not just for students like myself who volunteer, but also for parents and other adults who also volunteer. So again, here are the codes. Please take out your phone. Mine is right here. I'm going to take it out and scan it. Please join our WeChat groups. I'm going to leave this up for the next few seconds so that you can go join, and then we will begin our presentation. Again, please, if you are not the speaker, or if you aren't asking a question, it'd be great if you could please mute yourself for the respect of the audience and also for the speaker. Great, so now it's the moment that you all have been waiting for. Angelina Lee, who is our amazing guest speaker for tonight. I am so, so excited. Angelina is a high school student currently studying in Oman. She's 15 years old in 9th grade. She's studying at an international school with over 70 different countries. She's lived there for about 10 years. She enjoys playing volleyball, the violin, and ballet. She loves visiting different countries and embracing all cultures. And she's also active in a lot of clubs, such as Activities Council, a lot of sports club, and drama productions. And she says her friends would describe her as easygoing, humorous, and a good listener and speaker. And those are all great qualities that are going to come into play tonight. In my time from knowing Angelina, I can tell she's a very well-spoken young lady. She's very, very kind, and I'm so excited for her to give her amazing presentation. And without further ado, I'm going to hand the mic over to Angelina. And I would also like to say that, like just said in the chat, if you have any questions, please type them in the chat during the presentation so that you don't forget them. There'll also be a time to ask them at the end of the presentation, but if you don't want to forget, make sure to type it in the chat. So without further ado, I will hand the microphone over to Angelina, and she will begin her presentation.
Hi everyone, as Summer has already introduced, my name is Angelina and I'm a rising sophomore, and I've been living in Oman for around 10 years now. So I've experienced a lot of culture, and I know a lot about Oman. So that's why I'll be giving this presentation tonight. Just like a table of contents of what I'll go through today. So first is the music, as Summer has already played in the beginning in the background. And then next, we're gonna go into geographical location, where exactly Oman is located on the map. And then I'm gonna go into detail about talking about the culture in Oman. And then lastly, we're gonna have a Q&A session. So the geographical location, Oman can, okay, so Oman can also be referred to as the Sultanate of Oman, which is the full name. It is located in the southeastern part of the Arabian Peninsula. And Oman shares land borders with Saudi Arabia, which is the biggest Middle Eastern country, the United Arab Emirates, as all of you know, where Dubai, Abu Dhabi is, and Yemen, which is right next to Oman. Like there's a myth, I don't know if it's actually true, but like people have been saying that if you cross a mountain at the south of Oman, you're gonna reach Yemen. Personally, I haven't seen that mountain or actually been to Yemen, but that's what people says. Yeah. So then talking about the climate, obviously Oman is in the Middle East, so it has a really, really hot tropical desert climate. And there are 2 seasons throughout the year, which is summer and autumn. The hot season or summer is from May to October, with the temperature reaching above 40 degrees Celsius or around 105 degrees Fahrenheit. And the cool season, which is autumn, is from November to April, with an average temperature being around like 25 degrees Celsius, which is like 75 degrees Fahrenheit. And then as you can see in the globe, that's where Oman is located, that little green part right under Saudi Arabia. And then on the bottom left corner is how the Omani flag looks like. And then there's the national emblem, which I'm also going to go into detail later. So just seeing Oman on the map, that's how Oman looks like. It's just a little like history fact. The United Arab Emirates used to belong to Oman, but like due to war and everything, the United Arab Emirates is its own independent state currently. And Oman is like a really spacious country. So there isn't a lot of people living in the middle part of Oman because it's just deserts and deserts and deserts. It's usually in the north, which is Muscat, the capital city, which is where I am currently. And then Salalah, which is south of Oman. That's where the climate is usually cooler and there's just a lot more nature in comparison to the capital city. Next, I'm going to be talking about the flag and the national emblem. So the flag, there are 3 main colors on the flag, as you can tell: red, white, and green. The red symbolizes good luck and is the traditional color favored by the Omani people since it means good luck. And the white symbolizes peace and purity, and the green represents the earth. And on the top left corner of the flag is our national emblem, which consists of an Arabian decorative knife, which is also called a khanjar, which I'm going to go into more detail later. It expresses the determination and strength of the Omani people to defend the country. And like sometimes during National Day or anything, people will, like mostly men, they will have a belt wrapped around their waist with the khanjar, with the decorative knife. So they don't use it to fight or anything. It's just like a representation that, oh, this person is really strong and is a patriot who loves their country. And then next, talking about the landmass, Oman has an area of around 300,000 kilometers squared, which is in comparison to China, Yunnan, which is around 394 kilometers squared, and Colorado is around 269 kilometers squared. So usually it's not really a big country, but at the same time it kind of is, because like it's all just like really spaced out, which is like just full of deserts and everything, but the landmass isn't that big. And the population is around 4,500,000, which in comparison to Xiamen in China is around 4,600,000, and in comparison to LA is around 4 million. And as I've stated before as well, the capital city of Oman is Muscat, which is where I am currently. Yeah. And next is the flights. So I feel like this is a really interesting slide, as if people want to travel, people like me, I always go to China during summer, but currently there are no direct flights to Shanghai, and in Oman there are no railways, and transportation mainly relies on roads. So like as you can see, in New York City they have subways, and then in California they have Amtrak, but in Oman we don't have any of that. All the public transportation is like buses, taxis perhaps, yeah. So there isn't like a really big transportation use currently.
If you are not the speaker, it'd be great if you could mute yourself and make sure that you are muted for the remainder of the meeting, unless you're asking a question at the end. Thank you. Okay, you can continue.
So Oman belongs to a traditional agriculture society. So about 40% of Oman's residents are engaged in agriculture, fish and animal farming, and most people are self-sufficient. The main products are barley, date palm, frankincense, lemon, and cotton. And Oman, being the Middle Eastern country, has started to exploit oil in the 1960s and now has proven oil reserves of nearly 720 million tons, ranking 25th in the world's oil reserves. So Oman, being in the Middle East, obviously has a lot of oil reserves. So yeah. And next, I'm going to be talking about culture. This is going to be like a few slides long, because I feel like culture is really, really important in Oman. We're going to be talking about religion first. So the state religion of Oman is Islam, and most of the citizens of Oman are Muslims, accounting for 86% of the total population of Oman. So 86% of people living in Oman are Muslims, and the rest are probably just expats or immigrants. So Oman was exposed to Islam in 630 during the lifetime of the Prophet Muhammad. And Oman is currently the only country with a majority of Ibadi people. Ibadi people being like Ibadi Muslims, which is a type of like Muslim that really like Ibadi Muslims are just Muslims that really, really respect the country and the religion as well. So they know like a ton of history, and like the history has been passed down to like many, many generations as well. Next is the dressing in Oman. So in the middle is what men usually wear. It's called a dishdasha, and it's a national dress, which is ankle length and it's collarless. It's sort of like a gown with like really long sleeves. And most of the time, this dishdasha is white, although like a few other colors such as brown, lilac, and black are sometimes worn as well during events. And there are also many accessories men can wear. For example, the muzar, which is a type of turban worn around your head, the asa, which is a cane or stick used mainly for formal occasions or like for events during like National Day, or like you want to like perform or anything, and the khanjar, as I've talked about previously, which is the decorative knife around your waist. The khanjar is a ceremonial curved dagger worn during formal occasions, often described as an important symbol of male elegance. And next, talking about the woman, the national dress for Omani women includes a dress worn over trousers and a headdress. Usually the materials used are like very colorful, vibrant colors. Traditionally, Omani women would wear kind of wooden platform shoes, but like nowadays, mostly just prefer to wear sandals. As you can tell, like platform shoes are like really, really hard to walk around. So like if you want to go to the mall or if you want to go pray in a mosque or something, sometimes it can be a hassle and it's really hard. The cut of the clothing differs in various regions, as do color and the materials as well. So women complete their outfit with gold jewelry and cosmetics, opting for either brand name or traditionally made items. When in public, most women in cities wear the abaya, which is a modest black dress or cloak worn over the clothes, and the hijab, the typical Muslim hair covering, like around your hair to cover your hair. So next, talking about the mosque, there are millions and millions of mosques here in Oman. I can't even keep count. And Muslims usually pray 5 times a day, at dawn, noon, mid-afternoon, sunset, and evening. So usually Muslims, they'll wake up at dawn to pray, and then they'll pray again at noon, and then in the mid-afternoon, sunset, and evening, doing it every single day, since like the age of 5 until they can't like walk anymore. So they do this every single day. The mosque is available for any and all of these prayer times, but communal praying at the mosque is always encouraged, particularly for midday prayer and especially for midday prayers on Friday. Next, I'm going to be talking about the holy month of Ramadan. So the meaning of Ramadan, it comes from the Arabic word Ramadan, which literally means the hot month. However, Ramadan isn't like tied to a particular season, meaning that the month changes as well every single day because of the calendar. The Islamic calendar is a lunar calendar that consists of 354 days. So it's 12 months slowly cycled throughout like different seasons. So 5 years ago, Ramadan will probably be during like October or November. But this year it's March to April. So as you can tell, like the months vary throughout the years due to like the Islamic calendar. So fasting during Ramadan. Fasting during Ramadan means that you cannot drink or eat, including like drinking water and chewing gum, from dawn all the way to sunset. Obviously, even only if like you're Muslim. Like me, I don't fast because I'm not Muslim. But at the same time, I have to respect the culture. So if I'm like out during Ramadan, like I can't be drinking water. I can't be seen drinking water or eating, or else it's like disrespectful to the religion. And it is also recommended that before sunrise, Muslims eat a pre-fast meal known as suhoor. It just keeps you like awake, or like keeps your stomach full for the rest of the day, as it's the only meal that you'll be able to eat before sunrise. And then when the sun finally sets, that's when you can have your meal again. So the meal often resembles breakfast, but in some cultures it may include more dinner-like foods during suhoor. And iftar is the meal eaten by Muslims after sunset during Ramadan. So as I've said, when the sun finally sets, that's when Muslims can finally eat, and that meal is called iftar. These are just like a bunch of like holidays in Oman. Since my school is an international school, we don't follow all the holidays. We only follow the most important ones, such as Eid, which is like end of Ramadan, and like other like National Day, for example, as well. We need to respect that. Oman National Day is one of the most important holidays in Oman, where Omani people celebrate the country's independence from Portugal. Oman is the oldest independent Arab state in the world. And this significant day that recognizes the country's growth and achievements is celebrated with fireworks, decorations, colored lights, parades, Omani food, and music. So in my school, we would usually have a parade as well, where we just get to learn a lot about the Omani culture. Sometimes we would have like a really fun Kahoot session as well. And for the two Eids, Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha, these are like two major Islamic holidays celebrated across the country. Eid al-Fitr marks the end of Ramadan, which, as I can say, varies as well, depending on when Ramadan occurs. And Eid al-Adha is the Feast of Sacrifice. These holidays may last for 4 days. And you might be wondering what Feast of Sacrifice is. Feast of Sacrifice honors the willingness of Ibrahim, who is Abraham, to sacrifice his son as an act of obedience to Allah's command. So next, we're going to be talking about the Omani cuisine. Me personally, even if I've been like living here for around like 10 years, I'm still not really used to the cuisine. Like, I prefer Chinese food more. Yeah. So the cuisine of Oman uses spices to complete a dish, which usually consists of chicken, fish, and lamb. Unlike that of many other like Asian nations, Omani cuisine is not usually spicy, and it varies regionally. For example, people living in Muscat, which is the capital city, some tend to eat spicy food as well, which they just add more spice to the meal. But people living in like other parts of Muscat, they might prefer like a dish being like really simple and plain. Everyday meals generally have components such as rice, a wide variety of soups, salad, curry, and fresh vegetables. For dessert, a known Omani sweet, which is called Omani halwa, is usually served. This is usually served before the consumption of kahwa, which is a preparation of coffee, which is also very popular and remains a symbol of hospitality. Other popular beverages include tea, laban, which is a kind of salty buttermilk. It comes with like different flavors as well. Usually the yellow ones are like really salty, but the red ones are sweet. That's what like I usually drink. And yogurt drinks as well, and soft drinks like Mountain Dew, Coke, like anything. And for festive occasions, special dishes are prepared, particularly for Islamic tradition. Festive occasions including the National Day, iftar, and everything else. The range of dishes is very diverse, and there are certain meals only prepared during Ramadan. Next, onto some specialty in Oman. So the frankincense is a peculiar tree fragrance that heals by itself and heals the whole tree from the tree itself. And it is a natural herb, and for particular use, it can be used for treatments such as digestion and healing properties. Personally, I don't think I've seen frankincense in my house, but I have seen them like being sold in the markets and everything. And a lot of people buy them just if they have like digestion problems or anything else. And date palm can be seen literally anywhere. If you just go out on a walk, you can just see like a palm tree, and then it's like just growing dates. Dates are nutritious and rich in fructose. In addition, they also contain a variety of vitamins, proteins, minerals, and other nutrients. And they have been regarded as a good, nourishing, and nutritious food since ancient times. Next, I'll be talking about the khanjar. The traditional Omani mashe, also called the khanjar, has evolved from a weapon to an ornament. So khanjar was used for fighting and everything else, but currently, like, that violence is not available anymore. People just wear it around their waist as a sign to symbolize that like they're strong and like they love their country and they want to protect it. This khanjar can also show the identity of the wearer, and the styles are extremely rich and varied. So, for example, the king of Oman, he would be wearing a khanjar that's like very, very high quality, which is like very rich and can like, and the style is like just superb and everything. But like for like normal citizens or normal residents in Oman, they will just be wearing like a really modern and like normal khanjar that can be literally seen anywhere. Next, I'll be talking about my school. So my school is really, really international. It consists of nearly 80 countries, which is the reason why I love like just learning about cultures and embracing them and talking about like different cultures with my friends and like seeing their point of views while they can listen to my point of views as well. My school starts from 7:50 a.m. to 2:45 p.m., which is pretty early as I have to wake up like at 6 a.m. every day, like probably like leave house by like 6:50 and like get to school around 7:30. And there are so many clubs in my school, such as sports, student council, vox pops. Vox pops are like interviews where you get to like interview different people, but obviously you have to write your own script. And all the recorded interviews will be used as like a final like vox pops video at the end of the academic year for everyone to see. And like, yeah, so usually the questions consist of like, oh, what do you think of this school? They're usually like really funny, like we can hear everyone's different like point of views on that. And we also have different arts clubs as well. And we also have the yearbook club where like people can decorate the yearbook and do a lot of like journalism working and everything. There are also many competitions in my school, which includes writing, like it can be creative or like persuasive writing, and different sports competitions. It can be volleyball, basketball, badminton, anything. And since our school is a part of MISAC, which is the Middle Eastern sports competition, so schools from Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Doha, Oman, and a school in India as well, which is quite weird. We would like come together for like different sports depending on the location and depending on the sports, and we will compete each other. Like usually it's like super competitive as people train like 5 hours a week just to like be the athlete. And yeah. Next, I'm going to be talking about public schools versus private schools. Public schools can be also known as government schools, and the public schools in Oman are free of charge, meaning it's free until the end of secondary school, and are all single sex, as meaning like boys and girls are taught in separate schools. Obviously, there are some exceptions, but like the majority of public or like government schools in Oman are like pretty segregated. So boys go to one school and girls go to another. And government schools largely cater for Omani nationals. So people like me, I wouldn't be going to public schools as their like main language that being taught in the school will be Arabic, which I'm not used to. The classes are taught in Arabic, and they also follow an Islamic curriculum, which I'm not familiar with either. Next, talking about private schools. Some private schools are also international schools, and all the private schools in Oman consist of both girls and boys, depending on the school itself. Some private schools are international, meaning it has over 50 different nationalities of students in that school. And some schools only provide education for elementary, middle, or high school, while others provide education for all. So there are some private schools that only provide education for like elementary students and that's it, or like middle school students and that's it, or high school students and that's it. But the school I go to, it provides education for all grade levels, including from kindergarten all the way to 12th grade to senior year. Next, I'll be just talking about the different sites that you have to visit if you come to Oman as a tourist. First is the Nahal Fort. It's one of the best preserved forts in Oman. Oman is the site of prehistoric human habitation stretching back over 100,000 years, and the region was impacted by powerful invaders, including other Arab tribes, Portugal, and Britain. Oman once possessed the island of Zanzibar on the east coast of Africa as a colony, and Oman has held Gwadar as a colony for many years. That's a little history fact. But since I've been living in Oman for around 10 years, but I've never been to this fort, which is quite unfortunate, but I hope going there soon to just visit. And then next is the Misfat Al Abri. That's where I went there like 3-4 months ago. Other like large cities in Oman, including Muscat, can appear very contemporary. Smaller villages like Misfat Al Breem help capture like a more traditional atmosphere, where like traditions are more preserved. This mountain village, as this village is literally built on a mountain, is made up of stone buildings in shades of orange and brown, and it can look like an Italian mountain village than something you might expect to find on the Arabian Peninsula. This is a beautiful example of mountain life in Oman. A steep road leads up to the mountain, and you can walk among the buildings to admire the banana trees and lush greenery. There's also an ancient watchtower above the village that you can climb to see the entire village, as well as the surrounding fields and dams filled with water. Next is the Mazira Island. So first, Mazira Island is separated from Oman. It is a part of Oman, but it's not in the country itself. It's an island outside of like the big chunk of Oman. It's just off the coast of Oman is Mazira Island. Usually you have to take ferries to go there, and it's a really unique destination for travelers in search of sun, beaches, wildlife, and history. It's usually filled with seafood. So I went there once, and I had a lot of fun eating like different kinds of seafood as well. They're all really fresh, and you can just like, there are like fishermen all around beaches, and you can like buy seafood from them and cook it yourself as well. Masira Island is home to an Omani airbase, but the towns are relatively small. That means that there are like only few crowds, and so there are like it's really spacious, so there's a lot to explore in the island. And ferries are available to get you to and from the mainland. Usually if you want to bring your if you want to drive there, you can just drive your car up to the ferry, and then you can just like go upstairs, like where like people sit, and then you can just enjoy the view, and then until you reach the island, which is like around like an hour trip. Yeah, and on this island you can swim, check out the shipwrecks, and you can also watch more than 30,000 turtles that appear annually in hatching season. Next is Salalah, which is located in the southern part of Oman, which is a destination sometimes known as the second city to Muscat. Salalah is particularly important like currently because it is the home to the Sultan Qaboos, which is the past king. And on a visit to Salalah, you can admire the incredible Qaboos Palace, and you can also appreciate older architecture in the old town known as the Hafa. So there are a lot of like preserved architecture there, and for people interested in that, you can like take a lot of pictures, and there's like a lot of history to learn about that. Next is Jabal Akhdar. Jabal Akhdar can also be translated to Green Mountain, and it's a part of the Al Hajar Mountains. The Jabal Akhdar region is a primarily limestone and contains the highest point of the entire country of Oman. So Jabal Akhdar is basically the highest mountain in Oman. Although it's not covered in like a lot of greenery and lush forests, the elevation itself makes for like cooler temperatures and more agricultural growth than in desert below. I went there once during December, and it was the worst decision ever, as it was just freezing cold if you compare it to like Muscat, which is like usually like around 40 degrees. And the area now is being protected, but you can still hike through beautiful terraces, and you can sometimes, if you're lucky enough, spot trees. And yeah, but there are also like many hotels up there where you can live like for a few days and just like enjoy like the cool weather. Next is the Musandam Forge. The Musandam Peninsula is the northernmost portion of Oman, and it is separated from the rest of the country by the United Arab Emirates. Parts of this region are very isolated, and they have long served as the home to residents in mountain villages and coastal communities. This stretches north and offers spectacular views, as you can see from the picture. If you visit this place, the highlights can include things like boat trips to explore the coast and peaks rising up from water, spotting dolphins from a dhow or traditional Omani boats, and scuba diving out at sea. Population is sparse and wildlife is abundant, making this region one of the best places to visit in Oman for nature lovers. Next is the Wahiba Sands. As you can tell, there are like many deserts. Like Oman is pretty deserted. Like they're not like deserted, but like there are many deserts, but also at the same time, in those deserts, like there isn't like really a lot to see unless like you want to go like on a, if you want to like have fun and then ride on the back of a camel, or like camp in the desert under the stars. There's also a lot of tours there where you can just like tours and camps there where you can like just spend the night there, and you can like learn a lot about the history as well. Yeah. Next is Nizwa. In the 6th and 7th centuries, the city of Nizwa was the capital of Oman. But today, the city is best known for its incredible forts, which were all built in the 17th century under the direction of Sultan bin Saif. However, some parts of the fort date all the way back to the 9th century, and the highlight of the Nizwa fort is the enormous cylindrical tower. The fort also has some interesting defense mechanisms, including honey traps and usually shaped windows for shooting approaching enemies. The fort is also a museum showcasing 17th century life in Oman. While if you're going to visit Nizwa, you can also check out the souk or outdoor markets, as well as the goat markets held like 2 days each week in the city center. Next is Matra Souk. So many people come to Matra just to visit the souk, which retains the chaotic interest of a traditional Arab market. Under the modern timber roofing, a shop selling Omani and Indian artifacts together with a few antiques among more like traditional textile, hardware, and jewelry stores. So bargaining is also expected, although like discounts tend to be small. Cards are generally accepted in most shops, but bring cash for like better deals. The main entry is via the corniche opposite the pedestrian traffic lights. Honestly, like Matra Souk is usually like very chaotic and crowded, but if you want to like go there to buy traditional like Omani traditional like jewelries or like other like souvenirs, then that's like a perfect chance for you. So you must also like respect the religion as well. Like visiting Oman, there are a lot of things that you shouldn't do in Oman. For example, this isn't like an obligatory, but you must also like, you can't forget to like greet someone using Arabic, but obviously you can greet like in English as well, as most people here understand English if it's just like simple like good morning or like hello. And this is also accompanied by like a light handshake and sometimes a kiss on the nose or like both cheeks. You must also wear like modest, loose-fitting clothing that covers arms, legs, and chest, especially if you're like visiting like a mosque or something. If you're a woman, you must cover your head with scarf, and like just you have to cover your whole body. Like your skin shouldn't be showing much. And while being in public, you shouldn't be expressing like anger, and like just don't use like vulgar language or hand gestures in public. It's illegal and it can result in punishments as well. So as I've said before, during Ramadan, don't eat, drink, smoke, or chew chewing gums in public, as it's pretty disrespectful to the people fasting. And don't wear sleeveless shirts, halter tops, or shorts. It's disrespectful for religious people, but obviously if you're like going to the beach or anything, then obviously these are allowed. But like I'm saying, if you're going to a mall, you must respect these religious people. When entering someone's household who's like Omani, make sure to remove your shoes as well, as that has just been a thing that's like so long. And when you eat, you usually people eat on the floor, not on a like proper table set. So people just eat on the floor with their hands as well. Make sure to not photograph military installations and government buildings. It's illegal and it can result in punishments as well. And when like Omani women welcome like other women, they often invite them to their homes like for coffee. So people can just like visit other Omani women's house if like they feel like they're really in touch or anything. Yeah. Next is like a Q&A session, and I'll be answering your questions.
Yeah, thank you very much, Angelina, for that great presentation. And I learned so much. Oh my gosh, that was amazing. But thank you to all again who asked questions as well in the chat, and those will be answered right now. So I'll start just from the very first question. So, oh, this is a great question. So someone asked in the chat, Angelina, the pattern on your PowerPoint is very beautiful. Is it your traditional pattern?
No, it's not Oman's traditional pattern, but I do feel like it's like pretty like Arab style. Yeah, but that in that slide that Summer's showing right now, the mosque isn't Oman's mosque, but it is somewhere in the Middle East. Yeah.
Yeah, good question. Okay, let me get back to this final slide and then we can. So Mickey asks in the chat, is that a daily dress? And I think that they're referring to this slide right here.
It actually depends, because like some Omani women, they wear this dress like every single day, but like especially when visiting a mosque. But usually like for people like more modern, they would only wear that dress like when visiting a mosque or anything, or like during Ramadan. And same goes with men, but usually like traditional Omani women and men, they wear these dress like every single day.
Do children also wear these clothes? Or do
No, children don't, but they can choose to. There are like children clothing like that as well.
Great. Thank you for whoever just unmuted themselves and asked that question as well. You can also do that if you'd like. So next question is, Claire is asking, how big is your school?
I don't know the exact landmass, but if you compare it to, I mean,
think Claire is also asking how many people go to your school too.
Oh, there's like over 1,000 people in my school. But I don't know the exact landmass, but like personally, me just like walking around is pretty tiring. So yeah.
Totally. So next, our question is, what about a traditional school? I think they mean like a government school compared to your international school. What are the differences?
So the main difference is that a traditional school is just like either boys or girls. So you usually in a traditional school, you won't see them being in the same like school together. They're always separated. But in my traditional schools, boys and girls go to the same school. And yeah, and usually in a traditional school, their main language is Arabic, and they're usually like the traditional schools are usually free. But for international schools, obviously they're like really you need to pay, and then the main language can be like the main language is usually English. Yeah.
Interesting. The next question is, how did you feel when you first went to Oman?
When I first went to Oman, when I first came to Oman, I mean, it was a pretty new experience to me because I was in China for like 3 years for kindergarten, and then I moved here. I was pretty young, but at the same time, the climate like really made me sad because like I really wanted to go back to China before the climate. But as I've said numerous times, I really like embracing new cultures and learning about new cultures. So it's a really fun like experience for me.
Nice. That's really great to hear. The next question is Shannon asking, are these buildings made of mud? The buildings like Nakal Fort, I believe is the pronunciation.
Yeah, that building is made out of more mud and like ceramics as well.
Great. The next question is Luis is asking, are women allowed to drive? What about foreigner women? Are they allowed to drive?
Women, including foreigner women, they are allowed to drive as long as you have a driving license, of course. And you can start learning how to drive at the age of like 18. So in comparison to like the US, like people living in like New York, for example, I heard that they can start learning how to drive like at the age of 16. But however, here, like it's completely different. You have to be an adult, you have to be 18 in order to learn how to drive.
So is the legal age in Oman, is it 18 to be an adult?
Yeah, it's 18.
Interesting. Okay, great. Our next question in the chat is Mickey asking, are daily expenses expensive in Oman?
Yeah, it's pretty expensive. Yeah, if you like compare it to like China's currency, for example, not just like currency, but like just like spending money here, like although it's not like as expensive as like Dubai, for example, but you do like spend a lot of money on like food and like clothing or just like daily like grocery shopping. Yeah.
Yeah, good question. I think Luis is asking if you have friends in Oman.
Yeah, I do have friends here. I think they're also asking if like I have like friends that are from Oman, and since my school is like pretty international, there are also like people from Oman that goes to my school, and I'm also friends with like a lot of them.
Yeah, that's great. I have a follow-up question actually connected to what Luis just asked.
Yeah.
What are some things that you've learned from your Omani friends?
Well, mainly the culture, because at first, like Ramadan, for example, they really taught me a lot about Ramadan and like how to like just respecting the whole religion in general. And also I feel like Omani people are really like welcoming, and they're also really cheerful at times. So like being around them is like really fun.
That's great. Well, I don't think.
Are there any other rules against women or children in Oman?
There aren't like rules that are made specifically against women or children. It's just that like it's just normal rules you follow in the US, for example, like don't be rude, don't like use like languages in public. But like also for women especially, like you have to like cover your skin, like especially your hair, like no one can see your hair unless like they're like the same sex as you or they're your husband. But usually when going out, like women usually cover their hair with a hijab. And for children, there isn't any rule made against them. It's like just wait until you're 18 to like drive and everything.
Yeah, that's a great question, Jesse. I think the next question in the chat is, what do Omani people think about their women being treated differently by law, protection, discrimination?
I feel like usually Omani men, they're like really, I don't feel like women are treated differently by law, in my opinion, because like this, it's like about the whole religion thing, and it has been passed down for like centuries and centuries. So both women and men, they have to respect that tradition. It's not that, oh, like a man made up like all these like rules for the religion for women not to do. It's like actually like a tradition that has been passed on for generations. So I feel like women like respecting the religion and men respecting the religion is like a really beautiful way to just like carry on the religion itself.
I think it's a really great response, Angelina. If we have any more questions in the chat, feel free to put them there. But if you would like to unmute yourself, or you can also raise your hand and ask a question, or you can just unmute yourself. If not, I do have a few of my own questions for Angelina, but if you'd like to unmute yourself, now is the time to do so. If not, I do have some of my own questions for you. I do know that right now what's happening in China is the Mid-Autumn Festival, which is like also called the Moon Festival or the Mooncake Festival. And it's like one of the most important Chinese events, like probably after Chinese New Year, but it's very, very important. And it's like a celebration of like the reunion of families, celebrating food, celebrating the moon. You like eat mooncake. And I'm just wondering if there's like a similar tradition or holiday in Oman.
So first I just want to say happy Mid-Autumn Festival to everyone. And answering your question, there isn't like a specific holiday that's like celebrated because of like due to like the moon or anything. But I do know that some like Omani people who are really, really interested in Chinese traditions, some celebrate the Mid-Autumn Festival as well, which I find like really cool and interesting. So yeah.
That is really interesting. So how has knowing and experiencing multiple cultures and languages helped you grow or learn? And if you think it has, do you have any examples of that?
Yeah, so obviously I've like learned a lot about like different cultures in my school especially, and like teachers sometimes like teach us like different cultures from like where they're from as well. And that really helped me grow as a person because it made me like understand to like not exclude anyone and like include everyone. That's like my main takeaway. And just like I feel like just learning all the cultures and just like getting to know more and more of like what people do in those cultures is just really interesting, and it has really made me like open my view in the world, I guess.
Yeah, that's really, really great. And I'm glad that it's done that for you, especially because you're 15 years old, and it's really great to have like all these experiences under your belt to help you grow. I think we have another question in the chat. I think they're asking about marriage, if a man can have more than one wife legally.
Yeah, it's pretty common for a man having more than one wife here in Oman, and it's definitely legal. Like for example, the king himself, he has like more than 20 wives, I assume. Not, maybe not the current king, but one of the kings in Oman, he had like more than 20 wives. So it's really legal. And also for like citizens themselves, although it's not really common, but I do know like some people who have more than one wife here.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Hey, Angelina,
Hi.
you hear me? May I ask something that is not so related to the presentation?
Yeah, sure, you can ask.
I think your spoken, I think your spoken English is so great, and I know that you study in a national school, and I go for the internet, and I know that the official language in Oman is the Arabic. I just wonder if you just speak English in your school and you guys learn the Arabic.
Yeah. Thank you. So in my school, English is the main language, but like during elementary, it's a must to like learn Arabic. But I didn't go to the school I'm attending currently during elementary, so I didn't like get to learn Arabic. But like from middle school onwards, like from middle school all the way to like 12th grade senior year, you can choose between French, Arabic, and Spanish, and I chose French. So me personally, I don't know a lot of Arabic other than the basics like good morning and like my name's Angelina. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Okay,
really great
thank you.
question. Thank you for asking that question. I think that's really great. Luis is asking next in the chat, what would be the reason of the tradition to have possibly over even 20 wives?
I feel like Prophet Muhammad himself had that thing going on. So I think it has just been passed down like for like generations. So I feel like that's like the main reason.
Yeah, great response. I believe Nova has their hand raised. If you would like to unmute yourself, you can feel free to ask that question. Okay, if there's no question, then that's okay because I have another one of my own questions that I just thought of. So how many languages do you know, Angelina?
I'm fluent in Mandarin and English, and I'm currently learning French. Although I'm not that fluent, but I can like have a simple conversation. Like I do understand words, and like I can read in French as well. Yeah.
That's great. So what language do you think maybe was one of the most difficult for you to learn?
I feel like French because in my old school before it was an international school as well, but it was more like an Arabic curriculum. Like the school I'm attending right now is an IB curriculum, follows an IB curriculum, but the school I used to go to is like pretty like Arab and like French. I also learned French there as well, but it wasn't taught greatly. So when I came to like my new school, obviously we start learning French in 6th grade, which is when like I transitioned there. So like I already had like some sort of knowledge of French, but at the same time, like since like different schools are taught differently, I feel like I have to like sort of get used to like both sides. So that was like pretty difficult for me. So I think French was like the hardest language for me to learn.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. I've also heard from some of my friends who are like taking French, that French is like very, very difficult to learn. So good job to you for learning French. But we're getting kind of late. We are over time, and for our friends in the East Coast and other parts of the world that it's kind of late right now, we can continue this conversation later. But thank you very much. If you have any further questions, please come to the future symposiums because these discussions will be continued later. Again, I would just like to say thank you very much to everyone who came. I'm very, very excited. Thank you, Angelina, for coming to speak. Round of applause to Angelina. Thank you very much. You taught us so much and you're very well spoken and I'm just in awe of you. Like, thank you very much for coming out. So please scan these codes on the screen. Please follow us on Instagram and scan these QR codes to join the GYP group chat on WeChat and also to follow the symposium group chat to receive updates, information about the next symposium. But that's really it. Thank you very much for everybody for coming out. And yeah, thank you very much.
Lesson.
Have a good rest of your night, everybody.
Thank you.